for Nelson Mandela Day is preparing for their annual secret scarf mission. Participants around the country have been knitting and crocheting beautiful scarves to distribute on the 9th of July. 67 blankets. Ambassadors Timothy Moloi on my far left, Nomvula, Dlamini to my right, both ambassadors of this project, join us to talk a little bit more about this. And as you can see, there are, okay, you're knitting, you're crocheting. I've got that right, né?
Yes.
It's been a long time since I did homework. So I need to be sure. How did you both get involved? So this project goes as far back as 2013. Perhaps, Nomvula, let me start with you because we want to see if you can multitask, sing and crochet at the same time. But let's start with you. I'm not going to ask you to do the same. But
I can't sing.
No, that's why he's the singer.
That's absolutely true. So how I started was, this was an initiative that was introduced at work, and as a pastor and a corporate lady, it spoke to my heart in terms of what we're doing for the communities outside. I do a lot of work in terms of developing communities, and so this really was up my alley.
So how does it, tie in with your entrepreneurship? How do you take this and the do good message behind it and just uplifting communities in empowering them to do it for themselves beyond just the handouts?
You know what I've discovered is that people without tend to be the ones who give the most.
Right.
And it's so amazing the spirit of 67 blankets that it has had across South Africa. And I'm just so glad that I'm interknitted and woven into this beautiful family of 67 blankets.
Poetry in motion. So let's hear from you, Timothy. I believe you've sang on many platforms here in South Africa with well-known singers. How did you get involved?
Well, I was very good friends with Carolyn Stein, who founded 67 Blankets. And before I joined, I was like looking for, I wanted something where I could just do something to help, to help the community to give back. But I wanted something practical, something that I could literally use my hands to do. So when she put it out there on Facebook to say I need 67 blankets to crochet and knit, I joined in, I signed up. It literally is close to my heart. What I love is that it's bringing together people from all walks of life, all socio-political backgrounds, prisoners, young people, and personally, I'm trying to get the men to do it. Because
which is what I was going to ask. That it's not some see it as not a very masculine activity.
Exactly.
But I know a lot of people who actually enjoy it, irrespective of.
Indeed, men do it.
So what do your friends say? When you're sitting there talking soccer,
they look at me, their
crocheting.
eyes pop out of their heads. But a lot of people are actually inspired because they actually see what this movement is doing. The word is spreading. We've spread all over the country. We are online, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, we're at 67 Blankets for Nelson Mandela Day. And as I say, it's bringing together
it's interesting seeing him talk about it and do it. You can see, his heart sings. And I'm wondering, literally, which song do you say? Actually, let's see if you can multitask. Sing a song of crochet.
To dream the impossible dream, to fight the unbeatable foe, to bear with unbearable sorrow, and to run where the brave dare not go.
Aren't you just mesmerized? I would have dropped a stitch. I almost did. You almost did, right? So tell me, where do you want to go with this? And I mean, a lot of people, I think, have the desire to do it, but there are people who obviously can contribute in different ways.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, we're just so excited about what's going to happen on Tuesday, the 9th of July. We're just so thrilled. We are going to be all over South Africa. We are going to be hanging up and draping scarves on trees. So this is the Secret Scarves Initiative. So it's not anymore,
Now that you've just told the whole country.
You've just told everybody about it.
So the secret's out. What are you planning to do?
So we are going to be all over the country. PE, we are going to be in Cape Town, everywhere. Bloemfontein and Gauteng. We are going to be in Edenvale. We are going to be in Norwood. And we're going to be right around the corner at Johannesburg Zoo. We'll be draping scarves, and for those who do not have anything to keep them warm this winter, they're able to just grab a scarf. So we're just going to have a burst of color across South Africa.
And each scarf will have a note.
Yes.
Saying,
I am not lost.
Yes.
If you're cold and you need me, please take me.
Yeah. And it's in addition to what we mainly do is blankets. And since we started in 2013, 2014, we've distributed thousands of blankets. And what's beautiful is that the work never stops. Every day is Mandela Day with 67 blankets. It's not something that you do on one day. You do it every day. And because there's always someone who needs warmth. Warmth is something we take for granted.
Have you spread the message, because it's obviously an international event now, the 18th of July. Have you spread this particular project beyond our shores to say, I mean, we don't experience winter at the same time, but the cold is the cold, irrespective of when
of
it
summer,
arrives.
winter.
So
and the
are
wonderful,
people encouraged to join in?
Definitely.
Have they?
I mean, 67 Blankets has now gone to the US, it's going to Cyprus, to India. So this movement has just exploded because people have just resonated with it. And if you go onto Facebook, you'll find a whole lot of different groups. People can join the 67 Blankets for Nelson Mandela Day, the South Africa group. But because then that's when you can connect with people who are nearby you.
So if you can't knit or crochet, do you teach?
They do. We've got amazing coaches who are so willing to help you out to learn. Like, I'm a newbie.
Okay. She's looking at me. She's looking at me saying,
you need to join the movement. It is the new yoga, girl. And I think more than that, if you cannot and you don't have the time to knit, you can contribute. We love good wool. We call it's good wool.
Yes.
Because there are a lot of people who have the will, but not the wool. So we're very excited that you can just buy wool, donate it to us. We do not accept cash. We accept wool.
Our currency is wool.
So where do we drop off the wool?
In various places. So if you go to our website, that's www.67blankets.co.za, and that's how even international donors can actually, send through, and they're able to find the different drop-off points and the various information of the ambassadors across the country.
So typically, how long does it take to make a scarf? Like the one that you have draped around both your necks, how long would that take?
The one we've draped around our necks was made by one of our ambassadors, Christine Simelane from Mpumalanga. These are just works of art. They're just beautiful. And it takes, for me, to do a scarf, it takes me maybe 4 or 5 days if I'm working non-stop. Within in between doing all the rehearsal and everything. But some people can do a blanket in a day. And some people, it takes them a year to finish a blanket. So it's not about competition. It's just about doing something.
And enjoying it.
And it's the person receiving it knows that it was made with love.
Do you know, it's funny you should say that. And I'm looking at that particular scarf. I've got a friend who's actually in fact, she sent me a picture saying, "This is for you, done." So beautiful, so fluffy. I felt like I've already had my 67 moments dedicated to me. So charity begins at home. How do you encourage people to look beyond getting involved in the 67 Blankets, which obviously comes around this time, but to do it, as you say, every day is Mandela Day, to do it at home?
We just encourage people to do it anywhere, really, not even at home. And we start with our friends, we start with our families. So as you're sitting around, it starts becoming contagious, really, because you give a wool and knitting needles and you say, let's see. You can use competitions amongst each other and friends. We can get corporates involved. We've got corporates. So
you promise nobody is too hopeless? Because I'm scared to pick it up again.
Not at all. I never imagined. I've done about 5. This is my 5th scarf for this year. I never imagined I'd be able to do this.
Really?
I taught myself on YouTube.
Oh, wow.
So, and that's actually one of the best ways to learn because the person never gets tired of repeating the lesson. So there's no excuse. Just make sure that you give it of your time. And once you get the hang of it, it's very addictive, it's therapeutic, and you know that you're doing it for an amazing cause, and someone out there will be warm. Because as I say, you know, we take warmth so for granted. If you go to bed at night, you pull on your blanket, or you get your jacket on, we just take it for granted.
In fact, I'll tell you what, this very program has done various programs within Youth Month, highlighting the youth and the conditions under which. My colleague Stephen Grooters spoke to homeless young men just not far from here under very cold conditions. I did that at a prison, and as you say, you take warmth so much for granted. But I'd like to ask you, Timothy, as we sew up the story, a last song to warm the hearts out there, to say happy Mandela Month.
Well, I gave you a verse, I'll give you a chorus.
Here we go.
This is my quest to follow the star, no matter how hopeless, no matter how far, to fight for the right without question or pause, to be willing to march into hell for that heavenly cause, to reach the unreachable, the unreachable, the unreachable star.
Okay, phew, that was blazing hot.
Heat up in here.
As they say, it seems impossible until it's done. I'm sure many of you viewers at home never thought that somebody can crochet and sing at the same time. So there you have it. 67 Blankets ambassadors, Timothy Moloi and Nomvula Dlamini in the studio with me. Thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. And I'm sure many people out there will enjoy these wonderful warm scarves. Do stay tuned here